The Morning Brew podcast with Jaffe and Razor, sponsored by Berkshire Bank Home Lending. Where you borrow matters. And this is a very hot morning brew as we welcome you in. Jaffe and Razor coming to you well from parts. I know where I am. Razor is playing ESPN guy this weekend, so he looks like he's in the glamorous.
Yeah.
Is that the Sheraton? What is it? The DoubleTree?
DoubleTree.
in Bristol?
DoubleTree, yeah. And the bar wasn't open when I was done last night, so not a good night.
It's, when anybody tells you that being a broadcaster is glamorous and that ESPN is the mothership, just know that, I can see if you're on the YouTube channel that they've got the fancy air conditioning heater along the floor in there. And it looks like a half, I'm not sure if that's a half fridge over there on the floor or not.
No fridge.
No fridge.
No
Okay.
fridge.
Nothing will ever top, though, the glamorous life that I had years and years ago as an NHL broadcaster with the New York Islanders, and we stayed in Buffalo at the old Adams Mark, which 40 years ago used to be the hotel in Buffalo. Okay? And I'm not exaggerating when I say I may have had, they may have scrubbed the outline of a dead body off the floor in my room. And I'm really only half kidding because it kind of looked like chalk, like it looked like there was like an outline. And I couldn't tell if it was just like, that rug deodorizer you put on and everything. I can't tell if it was the remnants of that or if it was like a dead body because it looked like it had the arm kind of hanging up one way and something. And I saw the rate at the hotel on one of those cards in the room, and it was like $89 rack rate. I'm like, this is the NHL when you're with the New York Islanders. The Adams Mark says nothing but class. And now you are experiencing that in the beautiful Bristol, Connecticut area.
I stayed at the Adams Mark when I got drafted in the NHL in 1998. It wasn't that bad in 98, but yeah, I got drafted in Buffalo, stayed at the Adams Mark. It's funny.
Yep. Well, I think it may have been turned into condos by now. I sure hope so. Buffalo has gotten some better hotels. They have. They've got a nice Westin now. They've got a few others. So, again, I'll get off that tangent. And again, welcome you into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, presented by Berkshire Bank. Coming up a little bit later, by the way, in this show, we're going to welcome in a new partner, something that Razor and I are very knowledgeable of, and we're excited to have join us for some shows here. This is what we're going to hit on as the Boston Bruins skate to a 3-2 victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning on Thursday night, a game that had a playoff vibe, a playoff atmosphere, playoff style that had an awful lot of that to it. Is it a watershed moment? I don't think so for the Bruins, Razor, but it is an important moment, I think, for many reasons. This is what we're going to hit on in this Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Of course, all hail Hampus or Hampus, depending on where you're from. I think it's Hampus if you're from Sweden. If not, Hampus, yes. If not, then I'm sorry to any Swedes that I've offended. We're going to talk about pasta time as he continues to be spicy pasta, scoring a hat trick. We'll hit on the centers for the Boston Bruin Razor, who all four of them did a magnificent job in all facets of the game. And I think it had a big impact on the game. We'll touch on the Tampa Bay Lightning, some of the issues they're having. And in particular, we'll ask you about one of the goals scored against Andre Big Cat Vasilevsky. Kind of shocking, but it happens. And then we'll take some fan questions as I did a late chumming of the waters, or I guess I would say early morning chumming of the waters, and we got some questions from the fans. So again, welcome into Morning Brew. Let's get right to it. A fun night at the Garden, an energized night, a night where, the Bruins were the better team. All you got to do is, and I know shots doesn't always say something, Razor, but 12-8 in the first. And by the way, it was even for a while until the last 8 minutes of the first period. I think the Bruins won on a an 11-1 run. I got to get that, pull it up my notes. But then 17-6 in the second period. And yet, I mean, the game was still close. And I know you watch this one from afar, and it's a different view watching. Actually, sometimes it's better watching from afar. You see things differently. But even though it was a close score through two periods, right? It was 1-1. Did you feel like the Bruins were in charge?
That's what it looked like. And again, I'm working off three screens in front of me, but every time I looked down, it seemed as though the Bruins were dictating play. And you look at the opportunities they had, and there was just no sustained pressure from Tampa Bay at any point, especially in that second period. And the Bruins have gotten to their game. Since January 1, they've gotten to their game, and they're continuing to build on it. And when you play a good team, a really, really good team, that's struggling right now. Like, let's not overlook, and that's why I'm not ordering the rings today, because Tampa's lost 6 of 8, and they're struggling a little bit. But the reality is the Bruins are a good hockey team, and they played much better. There was no question from where I was sitting, where I was watching on TV, the Bruins dominated and deserved to win that game.
And just to be statistically sound, the last 8 minutes of the first period, the Bruins outshot Tampa 11-2. I had to pull my notes up again. So they, at one point, they were outshot 6-1, but the last 8 minutes, 11-2, as they got on their toes and not off their heels. That's not fair, but it was a very neutral zone type of game for a little while. Then they got going. They really did a great job again. I thought the game was important in the neutral zone. I thought the Bruins did a beautiful job. And actually, Tampa for a while stepped up. Boy, their defensemen are big. I mean, even their small D are big. You know, Ruta plays big, and he can because he's out there with a guy like Hedman a lot. But they gapped up a little. But once the Bruins got pucks back and behind their D and worked walls, they won the wall battles. That's where they had a lot of success. And I find that encouraging. Now, can they do it? And I don't want to jump too far ahead over the course of a 7-game playoff series. Well, we're not there yet, right?
Yeah.
As these teams are right now. But at least it's a good sign that they've beaten them twice this year. And they've done it, by the way, in each win, they did one without Brad Marchand, and in this game without Patrice Bergeron. So that's got to make everybody feel a little bit better as well.
Yeah, it should. Hey, you see how much the power play struggles without Patrice Bergeron. And
Right.
Anyone who talks about his offense and why he doesn't score, he's getting older. You watch these power plays the last few games without him in the lineup, and you recognize how much goes through him. And yes, he's not the one hitting one-timers all the time. And yes, he doesn't hit the bumper shot and score from there as often as he used to. He is still very important on entries and how that power play runs through him in zone.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a guy whose anticipation is perhaps very underappreciated, because the difference between being a foot away and being a half a foot away is significant. It's big time. It's a significant difference, and that's where Patrice Bergeron's specialty is: keeping plays alive, supporting his teammates.
Yeah, and he's seeing 3 plays ahead. He's like the guy. He's the pawn who sets the defense up. He allows the guy to get to him a little bit closer, or he'll move it really quick back to Marchand. He just has the feel to get everybody on the defensive side in the right spot for David to hit the one-timer, or for them to go backdoor 3 or 4 passes ahead of when the play actually happens.
Yeah, he's the maestro in the middle. He's that conductor that sometimes, you watch these symphonies or orchestras and you're like, really, what the hell is that guy doing?
That's right.
Really, what is he doing? He's waving his arms around, and since I don't know music, as much as I enjoy it, I'm like, okay, do they really even look at him? Do they understand? Well, Patrice is that maestro. Where he moves, how he moves, when he moves, it's the old connecting the dots down the rest of the line. He is the orchestral, I think is the term, Razor, in the middle.
Very cultured. Very cultured.
Very, very much so. Jesus, if only.
Yeah, I know.
But the Bruins power play continues to struggle at times also upon entries. I just feel like upon entry that between 88 and 63, they get a little too individual and they get sucked into trying to beat guys in the like they're literally it's like a web, right?
Yeah.
Like the defense is like a web and they try and suck you into the middle, right? And then they just scorpion you and they collapse on you. And that's what they do well. And the Bruins, I feel like, fall prey to that. I actually think the Bruins are better sometimes when they kick the puck a little wide, chip it in, and then they set it up. But the Bruins, particular few guys, get a little caught in the middle, and then it just doesn't, they make hope plays in the ozone a little too much. But let's be positive on this one. We saw a double minor to start the game. It was a good call, but it was not a good power play at all. But another good thing, the Bruins overcome that. Let's get to Hampus Lindholm. All hail Hampus as number 27 in black and gold. And as he said, my girlfriend told me I look good in black, and that's all I needed. Honest to God, you couldn't have asked for a better debut. You could not have asked for a better debut. And I get the encouraging thing for me with Hampus is it wasn't one of those 2 goals, 1 assist nights, Razor. It was this is what I do night. This is what he does. We've given you a scouting report in the previous morning, Bru, and he completely lived up to that. He closed gaps. He handles matchups. He moves the puck. And even Bruce said moved it better than he realized. I thought Barry made a great point last night. He says, I've seen more backhand passes made, short backhand passes made by Hampus Lindholm. He didn't call him Hampus. I'm calling him Hampus. He called him Hampus. Than I have by perhaps a lot of other Ds. And he was not criticizing other D. He's just saying he utilizes his backhand an awful lot. And I'm like, I agree with you. And then the other thing is what he did is that he had really good instinct, long closing in areas. I just thought magnificent first impression made by Hampus Lindholm.
It is, it was, and it will be, because what you said, it's completely repeatable. That's his game. His game last night is completely repeatable. That's how he's played in the NHL as long as he has. That's why he's going to be able to play for 8 years in the league going forward. There's no, again, he's not going to be good every year. He's going to be overpaid a couple of these years in 8 years, but there's a reason why the Bruins went ahead and gave it to him, because they have confidence in his game is very repeatable. He can do that every night, steady Eddie, and it's really positive for this team. What I loved is watching a little bit. I didn't see as much in the first, and I went to the team stats. I went to the stats to see on the D who played the most and how guys were. And Clifton only played 3 minutes and 25 seconds, so they could basically roll. They could become a 4-defense team when they need to be. And for me, that is so important. And they haven't been able to do that the last couple of years, and I think that's a big benefit going forward.
Yeah, and you use Clifton, but also a guy like Forbert as an example, just to look at numbers. With all the time shorthanded, Forbert played 347 shorthanded, but only 16-16 total. Mm-hmm. Hampus played 154 shorthanded and 23-26 total. Now, he got 426 on the power play. As Bruce Cassidy implemented him, he, at one point, along with Matt Grzelcyk, he used a 3-forward, 2-defense setup on the second power play, which he did in practice the day before for Unit 2. But because of the double minor and then these other power plays, he kept putting him out there a bit. I think he's good on the power play. I would say that's the one area where you don't look to him, but he gets the pucks, right? Like, you don't look to him to score. You look to him to retrieve pucks, help keep him in, and punch him through. And he's got to keep working on punching pucks through. That's going to be something. But I think what you overall see, your point is great about Cliffy, or a guy like Connor Clifton, is that they can now focus on certain type of minutes and not have to go 3-4 minutes over what they probably should be at.
Exactly. And whether it's Forbert, again, he's really, really good on the PK. He's really good in different situations, and he's not as good in others. And now you get to pick and choose those and put them in the perfect spot. And it stood out to me after the first period that I haven't seen 2 defensemen on the Bruins play under 4 minutes in the first period in a really long time. We just haven't seen it because they haven't been able to utilize that.
The overall line for Hampus Lindholm, 1 assist, a +2, 23-26 on 26 shifts. in the game, 4 shots on goal, 4 hits. He had 1 takeaway and 1 block. It's a star. That's a first star of the game. Welcome to a new city line. If it wasn't for David Pastrnak,
What a
that's what that
showman.
is.
I like Ovi is Ovi, and he's as close to that showman type. But I mean, we've talked about it. I think we talked about it on the show. I know we've talked about it off air. All of David Pasternak's hat tricks come against Tampa Bay. They come on a Saturday afternoon. They come one of these special hat night, whatever it is. He always understands the stage. He understands the moment, and he finds a way to get a hat trick. So often in these, if you went back and looked at all 12 of his hat tricks, none of them came on Tuesday night in Florida. It's crazy.
Yeah. I remember he had that 1 4-goal game actually against Hampus Lindholm and the Anaheim Ducks, but that was on a matinee.
Yeah.
And so that was a big afternoon.
The kids' days.
The kids, right. Kids. And meanwhile, all those 4 goals, I think, were from a cumulative total of about 7 feet. He was right around the net for each one, but still great. I loved the breakaway goal. I loved the start to finish from Hampus Lindholm, shielding puck, getting it to Haula. Haula's indirect bank pass. Oh my God, was that spectacular. What I want to ask you about that goal is, did you think Vasilevsky should have come out a little bit more there? Because I thought he would have, but again, replay perhaps doesn't do it justice. I mean, I'm thrilled that David scored. I felt like maybe it was the speed of Pastrnak coming in that kept Vasilevsky in the middle of the paint. I would have thought he would have come out another foot or so.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Vasi was thinking there. He will play. He'll play great. He does a little bit of everything. It's hard to really read him because he has hockey sense like Patrice Bergeron does. He's the maestro. Sometimes he goes way out. Sometimes he stays deep, and you can never really understand why. But he has a method. Usually, though, he does get over a little bit further. So I'm assuming he was expecting some kind of a shot from David. He was just holding his feet. Rather than getting out far and drifting in, he just stayed right in the middle of the crease and didn't have his feet. He was going laterally rather than north-south. So it was a little surprising to see him get beat by the post, by a backhand from Pastrnak, as good as David is.
Yeah, and especially coming off the right side, David had to come all the way to the left. But David, when he sold it, I think he just utilized good old-fashioned speed as the difference maker here, and then he just quickly got it to the backhand and zipped it past him blocker side. That tied the game at 1. That came after Brandon Hagel's shorthanded goal. A beautiful pass from Palat, but holy smokes, just, a breakdown between Marchand at the point, Pastrnak as well previously, and Marchand then missed his mark, didn't take Hagel.
Yeah, it's on Swayman too, right? Because Swayman has a terrible read. He way overcommits on Palat. That's that play where you want him to be deep and a little flat, so he can easily get over. We've seen him make that play a lot. He just had a bad read on that as well.
Palat actually held the puck and then held it a little longer. I think he was shocked, Razor, that Marchand kept looking at him and not at Hagel. Meaning, like, he held it again, and then he made a pass through the D and past Marchand, and I think Swayman got lulled into looking at a guy along the wall. I mean, he was literally at the wall.
Yeah.
And then Hagel gets it, complete empty net, basically, to shoot at gaping net. Pastrnak then ties it up on that beautiful goal from start to finish. Stamkos puts his 28th of the year, and in the third, 3:51 into the third period, on a bit of a sloppy play where the Bruins are coming back in their own zone. They swat the puck, and they don't get out, and it bounces right to Stamkos. Guy's having a fantastic year again. Good to see. Really good to see him having a great regular season. League is better when he's better. But then the Bruins tied up about 5 minutes later on a goal that I don't even know if you can explain this one, because the Bruins, they got to their grind game again. Puck deep, wall battles, multiple wall battles. Beautiful stuff, the hollow line on the ice. It works its way to Pastrnak, who had kind of come off the goal line and spins to his backhand off to the glove side, so the right wing side for the Bruins, and he just flips a backhander towards the net that, 4 feet away from Vasilevsky? I mean, what was Vasilevsky's glove doing closed? And it was like tucked into the post instead of, I would think, out. His hand should have been in front of the post there. Am I correct on that?
No, not not
No,
really.
that's fine. Well, then tell me what the
No,
hell he
no.
should
What
have been
so
doing.
he's in block mode because the puck's so close, because the puck's so far down. He's just blocking the post. And some guys, Swayman will turn his palm over. If you're watching YouTube, he'll go palm out. Vasilevsky goes glove over, so he's got his palm in. Okay, that's just how he seals the post. Some goalies, way their equipment is, it's either one or the other. You go palm out or palm in. Vasilevsky always has his glove on his pad like that. What happens is his skate goes on the post rather than his toe. So he has a little bit of gap off of his post. And that's just either him reading that David's going to the middle of the ice and he wants to be able to push off the post a little better, or he just misses his spot. And we've talked about that with Allmark a little bit. We've talked about with some other goalies where they'll get that skate lock. That opens up. They get too far off of their post rather than if you go to your toe, then you have a better seal. Tuukka Rask, we've talked about that, goes to his shin. So that really, like Tuukka wouldn't give that up because he's all the way back into his net. Gives up a little bit of mobility left to right. Vasilevsky doesn't do that. That's why there's just a little bit of hole. It's something that again, it's similar to that panda stuff we've talked about. Guys are trying to figure out because guys are shooting that now. You got away with it for the last 7 or 8 years. Now guys like David are just chipping it in there because they recognize that there could be a little bit of a seal miss there.
I completely get your explanation. I love it. And I can visualize it now. I don't understand why you'd put your palm in, palm down. I mean, palm out is, I could make some jokes here, right? You got the handout, the giveaway type of thing. I'd be the palm out guy for sure. Free 99. But now maybe you didn't do this when you played because as it's the goaltending position is evolved. I'm going to guess that you didn't, but wouldn't it make sense to have your palm out so you have a chance to catch the puck as well and hold it instead of palm down where you have no chance to catch it and then you're just blocking it and it comes back out then for a rebound?
Yeah, no, that's what you're giving up because you want to block it so that goal that goes in doesn't squeeze through while you're trying to catch it, and or you try to catch it, it gets tipped, something in tight. There's no way it can go in, so you just block it and leave it back down low and allow the players to battle it out. And that it gave up a seal, so you give up the goal. But no, you're not concerned about trying to catch that puck in tight. You even palm over. You're really like even the way Swayman does it. You're not in a position to catch. You're just there to seal and not give anything up along that post.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I haven't seen Vasilevsky give up a goal like that. I mean, I'm sure he has or whatever, but I don't remember seeing that. And it was shocking. And it's a great explanation. And I can sound mildly smart tomorrow when I say, actually, no, when Barry and I talk about it again, I'm like, no, actually, Razor told me why. Still doesn't make complete sense to me, but the reverse VH, the RVH doesn't make sense to me still. So you can explain as much as you want, but that's
we'll
why
go
I was
over some
forward.
video. I'll cut some video and we'll go over it.
All right. I like that. So Pasta ties it up at 2 and it completely energizes the place. It goes crazy. And you're like, holy shit.
I was jealous.
How did that go? I mean, the place, yes, it was vibing. It was a Thursday night. Yeah. It was people drinking. It was fun. I mean, it was Tampa. It was welcome Hampus, all that stuff. And then the Bruins take the lead at the 15:50 mark of the third period. After another really good shift by the Bruins, getting the puck in deep, the Holla line continues to be on the ice. Pastrnak goes for a one-timer on the left side. His stick snaps in half, and you're thinking, oh, shit, But instead of hesitating, as he darts back to the bench to get the baton passed to him, the new stick passed to him from the bench, Hampus Lindholm immediately decides to engage down the left wing wall. There was no hesitation to his game whatsoever, and he keeps the play alive. He knows that he's going to have another player, being Pastrnak, behind him. He completely knows it. So he jumps down the wall, meaning because David's got to go get a new stick or another player's coming onto the ice. So he's saying instinctually to himself, go. He goes and keeps it alive. I don't have the exact time. I'm going to say 15, 20 seconds later, the Bruins end up getting the goal. But it's all started by Hampus. They get the cycle going. You get a wonderful play Again, then up top, punching the puck down low, and Howla's in front again. And right over to Pastrnak on the right side, who doesn't hesitate and beats Vasilevsky glove side for the hat trick, the go-ahead goal, and eventually we would see the winning goal of the game.
Oh, I think it just goes to the confidence that Lindholm has in his game, in the way he plays hockey, in his belief that he's going to make a difference. He's not just trying to get off the ice without giving up a goal. He's out there to win hockey games. He's out there to make a difference, and he's going to stay out. He's going to jump in, recognizing as well, if the puck does give up, at least David's back there. At least David, someone's going to be behind me, and there's going to be two guys, and it might not be ideal, but I'm going to take an opportunity here. So headsy play just goes to hockey sense, goes to ability, goes to skill, goes to confidence.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Pasta's hat trick, hats rain down. Everybody's a good time. Speaking of it, I don't know, did you get a chance to see David walk into the arena last night?
I did, yeah.
Oh my God! Between that hat,
what a showman.
Yes, the hat. I'll tell you, the only thing that threw me a little bit were the pants. I need to see them live. The jacket, I was all into the double-breasted. I get it. Barry wanted to know what kind of a buckle that was. It was like a gold buckle like a swashbuckling type of buckle that he had over there. I don't think it was a pirate buckle, but it was something. I need to see the pants. I need to understand what the pattern was. But regardless, Pasta the showman is boiling again right now. 8 goals in the month. So good for him. Let's take a moment right now before we get to I want to talk about the Bruins centers and then a little bit about Tampa and take some questions here on This Morning Brew. But let's quickly touch on we have a new partner. It's called Max Pro Hockey, and I also want to bring up Fazenda Coffee. Let's talk about Max Pro Hockey right now. Something, Razor, you and I know really well as we have kids in the youth hockey world. Max Grachev is a former pro player, played in numerous leagues, including the KHL, was drafted by the New York Islanders, the AHL, all over. A wonderful player, played in the Q, grew up, though, in Massachusetts, played in Massachusetts, and now runs Max Pro Hockey. And you go to maxprohockeyclub.com, check out all of the training skills options that they have, and in particular, the seasonal skills development program, something that Max and his staff are building up an awful lot. Now, this is an in-season development program, Razor, that is a nice addendum to what your player is doing. Most importantly, it's fun. It's high-paced. It's energetic. Max runs a fantastic camp, and it's about real drills that will help you in game without the gimmicks, but it's fun, and he challenges the kids. And I know my son Jake has gone to numerous. I know Mace has been out before. Has Decky made it out yet or not?
Decky did a week in the summer and loved it. Loved it. I mean, they play the music. They got Max is out there in his gear. He's all over it's incredible. Guy's awesome. Unbelievable. Can't say enough about him.
Go check out maxprohockeyclub.com and take a look at all the programs that they have, whether it is summer camps, the master classes, or in particular, look into the seasonal skills development program. You and your child will love that. The other company we want to touch on here is our friends over at Fazenda. Fazenda Coffee Roasters out of Dedham are the best. They are Boston's specialty coffee roaster. Go to fazendacoffee.com. Razor, I had yesterday, and oh my God, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the Mexico roast that I had yesterday. I made a nice pot of it. I don't know if you can tell I'm kind of nasally. I just needed a big cup of coffee. I've been battling. I don't know if it's, do you have allergies or no?
Yeah, I do, typically.
Yeah.
Grass starts growing.
Yeah. I can't tell if it's allergies that I got right now or if it's whatever, something going on. Anyways, I had to have a big pot of coffee made. I did just that, and we had a great time. I think it was the Mexico blend roast. Make sure to check out Fazenda Coffee at the Daily Market. It's a single location grocer in Savin Hill. Pardon my, I was about to say Slavin Hill, Savin Hill. The Daily Market. Go check out Fazenda Coffee there, fazendacoffee.com. And just, a wonderful opportunity to get some great coffee. And use the code Morning Brew and get your 15% off at checkout. All right, back to the game. I thought something that was beautiful in this game, Razor, the centerman for the Bruins. All of them. Howla, So far, he's responded to that challenge from the other night, right, in Winnipeg? I mean, would you understatement agree that he's responded?
He does. He does. I think Bruce has figured him out. We said that. We talked about it on the post game after, I don't know what
Yep.
game it was, where he gets sent to the ninth floor. He says, I get it. I'm going to be better. And he didn't really look back after the break, coming back and having that little pee-pee slap. And then this one again, you know, a little buzz to the tower and put him back. And I believe in him. And I have believed in him most of the season. I like him as a hockey player. And I think he's not the prototypical second line center that we've seen with David Krejci or some of these other teams. But with those other two guys, with Pastrnak, with Hall, they like playing with him, and he does enough to service them.
He's not going to beat you up, but he can help keep you in with his skating, his mobility. Mm-hmm. And again, is it rhetorically? I'm not asking for an answer here. Yeah. I think we actually had 2 or 3 questions from our fan chat, our fan questions. You know, can he bring it in the playoffs? Well, he did with Vegas a couple of years ago. That was 5 years ago, though. Let's see if he can now. And the East is a beast, especially down the middle. The number 2 center slot for other teams. Matchups, I think, will be very important. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see if he's enough. Right now, he looked great in this game.
Yeah.
But, you know, can he do it? Can he do it regularly over a 7-game series?
No, you question that. It's just funny because, and again, I'm not ordering the rings. I'm not saying Hall is for Conn Smythe, but I would assume there's not too many centers in the league that have gotten 3 assists against the Tampa Bay Lightning either in a game this season. So you have to give him credit for what he's done with this group since January 1. And I get it. It's just like the Toronto Maple Leafs. Until they win in the playoffs, they suck.
Right.
The reality is Auston Matthews has 50 goals, so he's pretty good too.
Right. I mean, I know what you're saying, and I'm not doubting. I'm just saying we got to see it.
Yeah,
we got to see it.
I know. I'm with you.
But look at the numbers for, in particular, Charlie Coyle. Without Patrice, Charlie, I feel like he has taken it upon himself to try to be. I mean, he's been on the power play, played a shitload last night. He played 21-16. A lot of power play time. His numbers were great. 4 shots, a total of 8 attempts. That is mega good for Charlie Coyle. I love those numbers right there. I've told you all along, I want the number 3 shot next to his name all the time. If Charlie Coyle can somehow get to 2.5 average or 3 shots on goal per game, watch out. That means that he's starting to move. How about these 12 numbers? 12 wins, 5 losses in the faceoff circle, too. So really good numbers there. He and Haula combined for 22 wins out of 33 draws. Not bad. Nosek and Studnicka, they were okay. They combined for 10 wins out of 24 total. But not bad. Not bad at all. I just thought, though, take the numbers out of it. Haula with 3 assists was great. I just thought the way that Nosek, Studnicka as well, but Nosek killed penalties, and I thought his stick work was really good in his own zone. I thought the Bruins, all 4 centermen, helping defend in their own zone, interior, that layered mentality was really, really good and impactful in the game against Tampa.
They were, and they can be. Because, again, there's the way the Bruins play, and this is why they're at the top of the league in goals against for the last 13, 14 years they're up to now. And I get it, they've had pretty good goaltending, but it's not the what's in front of them. The circumstances led to some of that goaltending as well. The way they play with the layers, if the centermen figure it out, and that's not always easy, but it seems as though these centermen have, on top of Patrice, if they figure it out, they don't have to be big and physical to shut teams down because they just have to be in the right spot and really understand the system. And everyone's pulling on the rope the same way in the defensive zone, and they're crushing everybody down low. I can't remember the last time they've been really dominated defensively.
As you and I sit and record this morning, Bru, the Bruins are 6th lowest team goals against in the NHL, 2.64. To tell you the 5 teams in front of them, it's a pretty damn good list. Carolina, Calgary, Pitt, Rangers, and then, remarkably, the New York Islanders, who we'll see on Saturday.
That's funny.
The Islanders have actually been really good
defensively still. Yeah, I didn't recognize that.
Lately, they've been really good, and they're creeping up to the wild card line. I mean, they're done; they're not going to make it, but it's amazing that they finally turned it around. But then so you got the Islanders at the 5 slot, the Bruins at 6. Razor, after that, you got Colorado, LA, Tampa, St. Louis. I mean, so you're talking 9 of the 10 teams in the top 10 are all what you would call, teams that you'd say shit, legit contenders, right?
Mhm.
And the Bruins are right there at number 6. And we talked a couple of episodes ago about maybe we as a Bruins nation collectively didn't appreciate enough of what Bruce Cassidy and his staff were doing, even when they weren't great and it was riding up and down the way. Holy shit. I mean, they've kept it top 10 all year in goals against. Maybe we need to appreciate that a little more. Do you think the Tampa Bay Lightning have issues? Do you think they do? Or are they just, they're 2 wins in their last 8 now. I had a long talk with John Cooper before the game. I know the other coach as well. It's not that they're not concerned. They're not being flippant about it at all. In fact, the opposite. They're just kind of like, ugh. But they're seeing some things there. I'm seeing something. Look, the frustration from Kucherov. I mean, he is a petulant player on the ice. I still got to think that they'd be one of my favorites, though, even though they're going through this funk right now. Would you agree with that?
I do. It's similar to the Halla talk or the Matthews talk, where you say these guys are great, but can they do it in the playoffs? The other way for these guys at this point, yeah, you can understand why they're not that motivated right now. Why they've played a lot of hockey in the last year and a half, crazy more hockey than anyone's ever played within a year and a half of hockey, and can they turn the switch though? Can they turn the switch? Because that's where they're running into that territory now where they're gonna have to flip a switch here to be ready to go because these other teams are cranking and they're going the other way. So can they flip the switch? I'm not putting it past them. I'm still not putting it past them.
Yeah.
I just won't. You watch Hedman and Vasilevsky. I mean, and the reality was, like you said, Vasi gave up a goal late in the third period where usually he wins that game 2-1. If that doesn't go in, they can easily crush Boston the rest of the way. They win 2-1. You say, oh, there's the Tampa Bay we know. So I'm not sold on a first round sweep by the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, it's not that they're not trying. I can't tell you, though, they're as emotionally as engaged as the other teams that they're playing right now. I know and that's why bringing in Nick Paul and Brandon Hagel are very important to this team. Very important to bring some new energy to them because I think they are lacking some of that. Just a couple of other things that jump out from the game. Curtis Lazar, I thought, was excellent. 5 hits in the game, and I thought he was all over his right wing, fourth line, and penalty kill role. Thought the guy had a freaking really good showing. I did think Derek Forbert was very good on the PK. He had a couple of hits, a couple of blocked shots. Brad Marchand, Brad didn't score and only played 16 and a half. He's missing Patrice. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I know he didn't make
a great play. He's playing on the third line. He's playing on the third line right now.
Right now, yeah. I mean, it's a good point if you want to number it that way. But I do think he's trying to, he may have done a little too much on the power play that led to the shorty, but you know what? He is trying to lead. He is. He's trying to be that guy. Hopefully Patrice is back for Saturday. We'll have to wait and see. The other thing I really loved statistically as I wrap up the number look at the game, David Pastrnak had 3 hits in the game. He matched his goals with hits, and I just loved it. It showed a really good, complete effort. All right, let's take just a couple of questions here because we did get a bunch that came in, and then we'll wrap this one up. And I did it late, if only because I don't know, I probably forgot, or I didn't forgot. But Goldie here asks about BP Goldie asks about Eric Holle. Can he carry the load of a 2C? We touched on that, earlier. We think he can. We have to wait and see. Let's hope that he can. Mark Paradis brings in the question of Junior. Sorry, Mark. Does the addition of Hampus Lindholm allow them to be more patient developing Mason Lowry? Sure. I mean, anytime that you have another guy in the lineup, and in fact, you can say to Mason, Mace, you're 6'6", he's 6'4", 6'5", watch him. Do that type of thing. Watch his stick placement. Watch his footwork. In fact, it can be a real kind of a watershed moment for a youngster having that guy of we'll call him a mentor or a model to look at.
And what you do when he does make this step, and whether that's a year or two, whatever it is, similar to how Charlie got to make the step and play with Zdeno Chara, you get your mistakes covered up when you do come up, when those guys are around. Unfortunately, young defensemen get put into bad situations on bad teams, and they get exposed, and they have no one to protect them, no one to help them out. Now you have McAvoy, Lindholm for 8 years, and whenever the time comes, you're bringing young guys in, you're putting them with those guys.
Yep.
And that's
you love
going
it.
to benefit their game because they do so much less and figure it out.
All right, this one from Rob Michael at Ross Dower. Do you expect Swayman to get the majority of the starts for the rest of the season in preparation for the playoffs? Or do you think he and Ullmark will continue to split them evenly? But they're not splitting them evenly right now. I'd say, what is it? 2/3 of the games are going to Swayman. Maybe 60-40. I don't have the numbers
they're like
in front of me.
2.5 out of 4, probably something.
I'd be shocked, and I do not know if Bruce mentioned his starter yet. They're going to practice on Friday today as we record this. I'd be shocked if Linus doesn't play on Saturday. Wouldn't you?
No,
be
he
shocked?
should be playing. He should be
right.
playing. Yeah,
afternoon game. Get him back in.
Yeah.
Sway was good again, but by the way, had the privilege and the honor of meeting Jeremy's parents. He came by. They came by the booth. They're in for these 5-game homestand. They are thrilled, obviously, with the opportunity that their son is getting, and they just love Boston and everything about it. Having a great time. Nice people. Here's another one from Jenks. After last night's game, and everything is coming up sunshine and roses, and Lindholm is the second coming. But the only worry that Jenks has is Patrice Bergeron. Are they just giving him maintenance time, or do you know if his infection has become a real problem? It's not a real problem. I mean, it is. Of course, it's a real problem. You got to be aware of it. It turns out he did have the minor surgery on it, and that's why you cannot take the chance to infect it. They thought that he was fine. Not fine. They thought that he was cleared to play for yesterday, but they even said the doctors have to. If they are not 110% sure, they are not going to allow him to play, and nor should they. If this becomes something severe, which we have heard every few years, Razor.
Yeah, the elbow thing it's a thing. And if you land on it again, it explodes and blows up again, and you have to do it all over again. So you have to make sure that cut and your elbow is perfect. It cannot break open again because guys come back. I've seen it. It literally happens on every team once a year. Somebody gets it, and it's the elbow. So think about that cut on your elbow. You can't get away from falling on it or hitting it, and it opens up. It continues to open up, and you can continually sit out. And they don't want this to open back up first day of the playoffs and have him miss the first round because of it, because you can't do anything about it. It's healed.
Yeah, nothing about it. The hand and the foot. Again, every year or two, you hear about one guy who's got potential foot infection, and you're like, well, and he misses 4 games, a week and a half, 10 days, because you got to get on the antibiotic, and you have to make sure that you get it healed. You have to. Let's do one or two more. And let's see.
With all that being said, if it's Game 7, he's playing.
Right. He's loaded up with antibiotics, and he's in there.
So it's a little contradictory.
Yeah, no question. But you got to be extra safe here. John Lombard asks, he knows it's one game here, he states, but I didn't expect Lindholm to be this good. His question is, when was the last time the Bruins had a D pair of this quality? It has to be quite some time. But, would you say that Charlie wasn't Charlie when he was with Z, but Z was Z then still?
Yeah.
There's potential for that. How about, I know they were a shutdown pair, but you had Z and Seidenberg when you wanted to go beast mode.
I wouldn't go there yet with these guys.
No,
that was the best pairing in the last 25 years or whoever played with Ray Bourque was.
Whoever.
Z and Seidenberg were incredible. Like that, playing against those guys, it was bananas how good they were.
Now, neither of those guys, though, would have the flow of a Charlie McAvoy skating, but they're different. It's a
It was a
different
different
time.
year. It was a different time.
year.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that then.
Exactly. So, listen, it's a nice thing to get excited about
Yeah.
right now. All right, you know what? There's a couple of more. We'll save them if we can. Great stuff. Bruins win 3-2 over Tampa. The Bruins now continue to absolutely shine. Since February 19th, they are 13-2-1. And, I know this is a Bruins show. I'm going to say it too. Congrats to the Celtics, too. They are freaking 12-2 since that time as well. So combined, the two Boston Winter sports teams are 25-4-1. Holy smokes.
Title town.
Good for them. I haven't watched 1 minute of the Celtics game.
I can't believe you just brought up the Celtics.
Well, the reason is because I got a buddy who's providing some numbers. No, I'm just saying, what a sports town.
Yeah.
What a sports town. I mean, that's the beauty. I mean, I've said this 100 times on this show. People don't realize how freaking good of a sports town. Even when it's supposed to be a down year, your two winter teams are combined 25-4-1. Does that since Feb 19? Does that mean they're going to win a championship? No, but it means that people are having fun, and that's a good start. All right, Bruins are back at it on Saturday. It's a 12:30 game. 12:30, folks, against the New York Islanders, who come to town playing very well. Razor's going to finish up his big national TV gig, talking about college kids from all over the world. A lot of work, buddy. A lot of work. I trust me.
I got 3 more. I only have 3 games today, 4 yesterday. So, but yeah, I got to hit the books again now.
I've been there, done that. I know that well. And good luck with that. I actually am planning on heading out to Worcester to
little Michigan action today.
No, Michigan.
They're UMass. The UMass Minnesota tonight.
I'll watch the 6:00 game. Get out there and watch that. In the meantime, Razor and I'll be back with you in a couple of days for the next morning brew with Jaffe and Razor. Everybody, enjoy the day. Enjoy the Bruins' victory over Tampa. And we know it's a little late. We're sorry about that. But you know what? Go have a second coffee. You've earned it. And enjoy it.